Hello everyone. If you're new here, welcome. And to our returning viewers, welcome back. Today we are going on a journey involving our all-time favorite livestock breeds to cover on this channel, the naughty little goats. Goats bring everything to the table that cattle can: meat, milk, and land clearing, all in a package that is an easier size to manage and much less expensive to feed and care for. All they really need extra is a little patience and a great sense of humor, because these feisty farm animals are sure going to keep you on your toes. So let's get into every aspect of goats that you should be thinking about: milk, meat, and more. And we'll even have a quick look at some of the more unusual breeds whose hooves grace our lands. Let's start with the meat producers. The mighty Boer and Kalahari red goats from southern Africa are tied in first place for the best meat goat varieties. Both are incredibly adaptable, and they can sustain themselves on very little while still producing more than 30 kilograms of hanging weight for a fully grown ram. The Boer has a bit of an edge over the Kalahari just because they produce a little more milk. Neither of the two are optimal dairy animals, but a few Boer ewes can adequately supply a household with milk, whereas the Kalahari rarely has enough for her own kids. The Boer also has higher kidding rates, with twinning and triplets being very common among the breed, but both the Boer and the Kalahari need a lot of space. They are just not made to be penned up. If you need a breed that can handle smaller spaces and is a little more docile, then the tiny pygmy is for you. And when we say pygmy, we mean all of the dwarf varieties out there. They are all suitable for meat production, and they usually come with very high-quality dairy too. Most people see them as a pet or a hobby farm goat, but they actually do supply a decent quality meat, and they carry just enough milk to make it worth your while. Overall, the pygmies are very gentle and enjoy the company of humans. They do need a little more hoof care than most breeds do, but that one aspect is hardly unexpected from pygmies, no matter what the species. The Saanen is by far the biggest milk-producing goat in existence. A doe will provide you with 3 gallons of milk every day when she's in her prime, but they are not for the novice goat keeper. Saanens are better suited to colder and more overcast environments. They are prone to sunburn and heat exhaustion, and the immense amount of milk that they provide means that you'll need to provide them with specialized feed. And well, while their milk is perfectly fine, it is also perfectly average. They are very much a large-scale milking goat. If you are looking to supply the masses with dairy, then the Saanen is ideal. But if you are looking for optimal butterfat and protein in your dairy product, overall health and ease of care, well, there are just better options out there. If you want something that's a little easier to care for or for the middle range in acreage, the Lamacha is the best dairy producer for the small-scale farm. They'll need room to graze and forage, but they don't really need much more than that. Lamachas can produce a gallon of milk per ewe, and they come with the added bonus of being in milk for up to 2 years before they need to be bred again. Their milk will be higher in butterfat compared to most other breeds, and they're relatively easy to manage if they're given enough room to be content. Then there's the absolute smallest of the milking breeds. The Nigerian dwarf is a gentle and tiny little animal, ideal for penning and the family. They'll give you 2 quarts of high butterfat milk per ewe, and since they are so small and docile, you can keep quite a few of them together without causing a ruckus. Their small size means smaller teats, so the process of milking them might take some getting used to. And then, as we mentioned before, there's the fact that all of the pygmy breeds were initially bred with meat production in mind. They can all give you good quality meat, even if they are so much smaller than the big meat producers. When you're planning on just keeping your own household supplied, a few pygmies on your property will have plenty of meat and milk to feed a family. Now, we move on to the goats that serve the most variety. First up is the Don goat. For our viewers that live in colder climates, the Russian Don goat is the absolute best selection for a multi-purpose goat for those snowy areas, developed for their milk, meat, skins, and fleece. They have the highest fleece weight with shearing of all of the fleece-carrying goats. Dons are on the larger side and can take some practice getting used to handling that weight, but when it comes to a good multi-purpose animal for harsher conditions, there really isn't a better option out there. You might have some trouble finding them, though. Exports out of Russia are scarce, and it would be best to seek them out in the northern European countries instead. Keep in mind that sourcing them outside of Russia runs the risk of getting an animal that isn't purely bred. Then, there's the price attached to the animal, combined with the paperwork and export costs. Well, just be prepared to shell out a hefty amount. Luckily for the rest of us, who can't afford to hand out a few $1,000s at once, there's always the Ngora. There is no other breed more versatile than the Ngora. They are a medium-sized breed that are kept for meat, milk, and fiber. Oh, and you can add good foraging and land clearing to their long list of attributes too. This fascinating little goat is very new to the livestock scene. Their development started in 1994 in the USA by combining the teeny-tiny Nigerian dwarf with the best fiber goat on the market, the Angora goat. The result was a medium goat that had the fabulous quality dairy that the Nigerian dwarf had, but it also came with the stunning fleece that the Angora brought to the gene pool. But even as high quality as their fleece is, their main interest did not come from big sheep farmers. Instead, the homesteaders were the ones to give the Ngora their biggest push in demand. Ngoras get their easy tempers from their Nigerian half, and they are much more manageable than other goat breeds. Since their debut, their population just ballooned, meaning that the price attached to them has dropped to become much more affordable. By the rate they're spreading, the brand new Ngora could very well be the top goat breed for the USA in just a few short years. And finally, because we can't help ourselves, here are some of the more unusual breeds you've probably never heard of. The Komori goat comes from Pakistan. They are rarely found outside of their home country, probably because they are so expensive. You can pay $3,000 or more for a single ram. Their unusually long ears and the splotch pattern on their fur makes them stand out from the rest. Their unique appearance and the high quality of their milk is what makes them so pricey. Pakistan prizes their specialized goat breeds, and it's very likely that they'll keep the Komori at the high end of the price scale for many more years to come. As valuable as they are on the farmland right now and for the foreseeable future, the Komori is going to stay a high-priced show goat. The myotonic goat has the strangest defense mechanism of the lot. They are sometimes also called the fainting goat, due to a genetic quirk that makes their muscles seize up and render them immobile for a few seconds if they are frightened or put under stress. Don't worry, this doesn't cause any harm to the animal, and they'll be up and running in no time again. In 1885, a man named John Tinsey brought 3 ewes and a buck into the USA from Nova Scotia. He left his goats behind when he moved, and they became somewhat feral, and that's where the myotonic goats came from. No one knows where he got that original small herd from or how they managed to multiply and survive so well, but the result was a relatively gentle little goat that had a good quality carcass and a little milk to offer too. But their sizes vary greatly. Depending on what breeding stock you get them from, they can range anywhere between 25 kilograms to 70 kilograms. So if you're looking for something a little smaller, they are perfect. Just make sure that you're getting the stock that leans more to the lighter side. Productive and quirky, the fainting goat is bound to come with lots of fun and antics on your property. And there you have it. What are you looking for in your goats? Small or large, milk or meat? Or maybe a bit of everything? Let us know in the comments below. Before you leave, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with as many livestock lovers as you can. Every bit of engagement really helps us keep the lights on over here. Until next time, keep learning about the fascinating breeds just waiting to add value to your land. Your options are endless.